everybody. It's me. It's AlexisMaurice and my co-host, Mr.
Trei Hollywood.
You are in for a very, very special treat with us on today. Now, this is going to be our second, I call it celebrity interview, because this young lady that we're about to interview is definitely a celebrity, and she didn't need TV to become a celebrity. But tonight, we have someone very, very special with us. She reigns originally from Houston, Texas.
H-Town.
She is a graduate of the illustrious Clark Atlanta University. She has a 16-plus year career in PR, marketing. Imagine starting your career at the age of 19, 16 years later, you are here, you are thriving, okay?
Thriving, baby.
She is an award-winning publicist. She's worked with brands like BET, Warner Brothers, Netflix, Nike, NBA, Ashley Stewart, HBU All-Stars, a list of liquor brands. All the celebrities you can think of, she's worked with them. She likes to make people's visions come to life. In addition to that, she calls herself the sweetest little lemon you'll ever meet. So if you don't know who we're talking about Mrs. Torria Lemon from owns Heart and Hustle Houston reality show. Ladies and gentlemen, clap your hands and welcome her to the stage on today. If I can get my button pushed, we're gonna have her come on to the stage. Oh, there she goes.
Hey, y'all.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. And let me make sure I get this right. Is it Latora or Latoria?
Latoria, like Victoria, but love.
You think I didn't know my friend's name? I told you that.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and pour yourself a glass of wine. I got my wine. Trey got his wine. She even got her little cup. She got a little something in it, but we ain't going to tell y'all what she got in it. Pull up a chair because the wine up starts now. I was excited about this interview today. Now listen, Trey had been harassing me for weeks. He was like, Maurice, you got to watch this show. I have a friend that's on the show. Now mind you, I knew about your show because I work for...
Just go ahead and say it, child.
I work for your employer.
Okay.
For the parent company. I work for the parent company. So I had seen it. I seen the teasers. I saw all of that good stuff like that. And then when he told me that he had a friend on the show, I was like, okay, cute. So he was like, we gonna interview her. So you need to watch. You need to get yourself together. I was like, I got this. He hit me up 2 weeks ago. He was like, hey, Maurice, we need to go ahead and get this interview scheduled. I called him in the middle of the night.
I was at the cabin, yeah.
I said, guess what? He was like, what? I was like, apparently there was some type of emergency edit or something to episode 6. And so they needed someone to screen it before it came on later on that day. I was like, well, let me go ahead and watch it. I'll do it. And so I saw you. I said, there's Trey. Friend. I said, Trey, we got to interview her. So we're here today. So thank you so much for being here with us. First off, I want to hear how you two know each other. How did y'all meet?
Who wants to, you want to go, friend, or you want me to go?
So you're the queen of the show. I'm going to let you go.
And you a king as well. So Trey was, I don't want to mess up your title, but he was like the second in command at my old mid-rises that I used to live in. Like when he came in the office, I think like day 2 or 3, like we just hit it off like immediately. I distinctly remember Houston went through a freeze. Don't ask how cold it was. But all the lights and everything went off and we didn't have heat in half the building. I went to the office and he was in there working hard and I was like, I'm gonna be back. Now mind you, it was ice all over the roads and I didn't have no gas in my car, but I walked to the store and I got me and my friends some groceries.
Yep. Sure did. I knew from that moment that this was going to be a friend forever. Yeah. No matter where we're at in life. I knew that the instant connect, and that's why I wanted to bring her on. So I wanted people to be able to see Latoria that I know, the fun, the one who loved to play some spades. She talks some shit at the table.
Oh, no.
Like it's all of that. And so I just wanted people to be able to see the person that I know. And that's why I was so pressed on bringing her on.
Oh, thank you. And I'm excited to be here. You know, I've learned I've learned to kind of tune out noise because everybody gonna have some opinions. Right?
Everybody gonna have an opinion.
They gonna have some opinions, but
they like assholes. Everybody got one. Okay.
Everybody got one. You know, I mean, some of them stank. Okay.
Oh my God! Come on now.
That part.
Videos. We don't like videos over here.
Oh God! Listen, and that's the truth. But you know, I think at the end of the day, I showed up every single day and was my authentic self, and I was also just going through like a very transitional stage. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna be transparent. Those that know me know that I keep a joke in my purse. That's just me. I always have been, like since I was little. I was even in high school voted like most witty out of the whole campus, and it was 5,000 people that went to my high school. So it's always been me. So
nothing like a natural disaster to bring two people together or whatever. I am so glad again to have you here. And Torria Lemon is actually a cast member on season 1 of OWN's new hit reality show, Heart and Hustle Houston. They tagged you as the hopeless romantic in a sense.
Yeah.
But the season has wrapped up. It's been an explosive 8 episodes. But I want to hear kind of the origin story. How did Heart and Hustle come about, and how were you involved in the actual, you know, coming together of the show, or the girls? Were you involved in casting? Tell us how the show came about.
You know, the funny thing is, I feel like I've always had heart and hustle. So I think this kind of came about, and it just made sense. And so I got approached 3 years ago in my DM saying, hey, you know, I'm a casting director, been following you, working on a new project. And the person that reached out to me, like our casting director, very blunt, very direct, but she means business. And so when she reached out to me, my initial thought was, okay, which one of my clients is she reaching out to me about? Because I never thought it was me. So I messaged her back and I was like, you know, which client are you referring to? And she was like, no, I'm talking about you. I'm on a deadline. We can hop on Skype tomorrow. Let me know what you think. And so at that time I was like, girl, you very New York, very active, very aggressive. I'm like,
very straight to the point.
To the point. I'm like, yeah, let me have some time to think about it. She was like, yeah, I don't have a whole bunch of time. So long story short, we got on a Skype. I also think it's a testament to you never know who's watching you. You never know who's following you. You never know what rooms your name is in before your feet get in those rooms. And so she basically got on the Skype and told me everything about me. I was like, girl, how do you know? And so
watch it.
Right. And so she was like, you know, we've heard from so many people in Houston, like, we can't do a show in Houston about my not have Torria involved. And so of course she ran a couple of names by me at that time, and I was like, oh yeah, like, I know those girls. Like, I've seen them on the scene. I know that they're good. And some of the girls I recommended made it. Some of the girls I recommended did not. But nonetheless, I think Houston's the home of the Heart and Hustlers.
Yes, and I think that's one of the amazing things about this show. To me, in my personal opinion, you guys are very relatable to a lot of Black entrepreneur women. A lot of you have had professional careers. Some of you are in your professional careers. Some of you are housewives, content creators, people who have everyday 9-to-5 jobs like the rest of us. And some of y'all have a little bit more glamorous jobs or whatever. Regardless of what you're doing, the heart and the hustle is in all of it. You had relationships with all of the girls, or were there anyone that you just met when you got on the show?
Ro and I knew each other from the nightlife scene. So I always seen Ro around, and we've always, you know, casual conversation. And there's even some rooms that we've been in where we've had to work together. Chloe and I share several mutual girlfriends. So we always, you know, at the same events, same functions. And then I don't know if it's been really emphasized or mentioned, but Chloe's an educator in addition to event.
I did not know that.
Yes, she worked in the school system for years. She just resigned in May of this year because while we were filming, she was literally working every day.
Wow. That's the hustle, man. That's the heart and that's the hustle.
Exactly. So Chloe's school that she worked at, like I've done step shows and give backs at her school, and she's been really helpful in making sure it got it done. And so Alaina and I had seen each other in passing, just in the same rooms and stuff. I didn't know Muneera or Labrina coming into this process.
I think seeing the different dynamics between you all kind of shows the different hustle that you all have and the different drive that you have. For having friends outside of this show, We saw some of your friends coming to the to your Sweet 16. Having a situation like this kind of teach you stuff about sisterhood and just about being together. What would you say would basically taught you the most about either yourself or just having a sisterhood among Black women?
The friends that you all saw in episode 7 that came down from my Sweet 16, I've had the same group of friends. Like all my college girls, we've been friends since college. So that's 17, 18 years. My best friend, we've been best friends since we were 3. So I've always had long-term friendships, which I think is, you know, despite what episode 3 showed, where they tried to make me look a little messy.
We're gonna talk about that. Yeah.
I've always been a girls girl. I literally host girls events, and a lot of times I don't charge people for coming to my events. I just do it from my heart, and I really do want to see people win. Some people have called me crazy for it. They're like, "Girl, you could be a millionaire by now." But when you are operating in purpose, and some things are ministry as well, I'm being obedient. You ain't gotta understand my obedience.
And your reward comes at another time and another place. Come on now, take us to church, God. Take us to church.
Let's just go back to the episode where the young lady came with the papers and it from like 1995 when she came with those so-called receipts. And I saw that, it was funny to me. I chuckled because even if Torria sent her an invite to come to something years ago, that's just a testament of how she just wants to see people grow, give them an opportunity. Because Torria sent me invites. She knew that I wanted to be an actor. She knew the aspirations I had. So she sent me invites to events. I would go to invites and just see people, you know, who I'm not on their level, but she allowed me to rub shoulders and elbows with them. So I say that to say that, you know, that's just an example of how she allows and wants people around her to be just as successful as her, if not more. It was like it was annoying because I was like, that's not her, but they're painting her to be.
And you know, I agree with you 100%, really 1,000%, because if you've ever been around me, I love on everybody.
I can say that about you.
That's just always been me. And even I was talking to my therapist, Miss Sylvia, who's on the show. I was talking to her the other day, and I said, I had to ask myself, is that my gift or is that my curse? Because I'm giving a lot of love, and maybe to some people it makes them feel closer to me than what they really are. But I'm like, those that I know, it's no way I can forget you. Like, what? You know, so I really thought that whole scene was just full of shenanigans. And I've said this, and I'll say this to young girls as well, or anybody. Never want to be around somebody that much. You're willing to compromise and print out stuff and just to be around them. If it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you. And I never once said it wasn't meant for you. If you look at the scene, the first thing I said, okay, so since it's been some years, because in my mind I'm still like,
first of all, I'm booked and busy. So
booked and busy. And I'm like, help me out. Like, since you're saying it's been some years and I'm saying it's been some years, catch me up. Tell me what you're doing.
I loved how you did that. I absolutely loved it because you know what? It reminded me of my grandmother a little bit because my grandma was a very loving, nurturing, warm person. Everyone on the block, you know, from their hood, Greenview, shout out to the Greenview community in Columbia, South Carolina. Everybody knew her. So we got to the place where we had to take her around. You know, Miss Cool, hey, everybody, Miss Betty. Everybody hug her, kiss her. And I knew when my grandma started putting her hand over her mouth that she was trying to figure out, who is this? And so we said,
educating me.
Grandma, who is that? She said, I have no idea.
None.
But she never acted funny. She never made the person feel like she didn't know who there was or that she was too big or they were too small. She never did that. And that was one of the things that I learned from her. And I saw you kind of do that. I don't necessarily remember who she is, but I'm not going to make her feel no type of way. Girl, tell me about yourself. What have you been up to? What have you been doing? Because the people act funny when that red light come on, girl. They know how to act funny.
Baby, she was giving red light special.
What have you learned, or what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from being on reality TV this season, you know, on the show and interacting with these ladies? Tell us about that.
Probably one of the biggest things that I've seen and experienced is, baby, anything you do can be remixed, okay?
Girl, tell me about it. Trei know that personally.
Because
Lord.
I listen, I've watched some of the episodes, and you know, some of us girls, we may FaceTime while an episode is on, because there's things about each other that we're still learning. So yeah, and so as I'm watching, I'm like, girl, I didn't know that you was experiencing that. Like, I didn't know that that's what you and your son had going on, or whatever the case may be. And so there's been some times where after a show, 3 or 4 of the girls would call me and be like, "You all right?" They didn't have to do it like that.
Yeah.
That way.
They spun it a certain way.
Yeah, it's like, you know, what the hell? Like, you know,
yeah.
The editing room floor, girl, that editing room floor is something else, honey.
It's something. And I literally had to go into prayer at certain points and just say, God, allow the right people to receive my character, because people that know me know it ain't never been a messy bone in my body. It ain't never been a hatred bone. I'm very loving. I'm very welcoming. And so it's just like, perception is everything when it comes to entertainment as well. So somebody can watch a scene of me saying good morning and say, oh, she just dumb. Like, how did you get there?
Right. How did you get that from that? All I said was good morning, girl. That's all I said.
Bringing a nice energy
or you look cutesy, you know.
Or cutesy. Child, you gotta be sip. Come on, I'm about to sip on that thing.
I might need a refill.
Before we get down to that cutesy comment, I got one question for you.
Oh Lord, I know what it is. I know what it is.
And then we're gonna get down to business. Girl, have you met Oprah yet, girl?
Okay. I ain't even told the girls this. Years ago.
Okay, come on with the exclusive. Tell us.
Years ago, I was at the Four Seasons in Atlanta. I got on the elevator, and Miss Oprah was in that elevator. And I just went from to I couldn't even press a button. Like, I was like, I don't even know where I'm going. And then she started speaking on the phone to someone, and I just was like, that's Miss Winfrey. And you know what? Let me tell you what God told me.
What he told me?
It won't be the last time.
It won't be the girl. And look at where you are today. You are on her network.
Yep.
On her network. Inevitable, you're going to meet her again. It's inevitable for that to happen.
And you got to tell her that story when it does.
I sure will.
Girl, you got on the elevator with Oprah?
Yes, it was a big man in there too, her bodyguard or whatever. But I remember she had on some beautiful khaki white pants and a beautiful belt, like a gold belt, and a white shirt that just kind of draped over her shoulders. And I was like,
how did it smell on the elevator?
Like money.
Yes, money, like money.
I was like,
yeah. That was so annoying.
I was like, what is that fragrance?
I've never smelled billions before. Is this what billions smell like? Come on, Lord. Come on.
Give me some.
Rub it up on me, Lord.
Right.
All right. All right, so let's get down to business, okay? Yeah. Since we're talking about growth and we're talking about entrepreneurship and meeting Oprah and all of that good stuff. Lemon Light Media. Tell us about Lemon Light Media and how did it come about? How did you get started? Because you graduated from Clark Atlanta, but before you even graduated, you had already started working in your purpose. You had already started working in your career. So tell us how your company came about and what are some of the services you provide and what do you specialize in?
When I was at Clark Atlanta University, again, my hustle, I had like 2 internships. I was working with Essence at one point, and I worked with a PR company that was like one of the top African American PR companies and multicultural PR companies in Atlanta. And so I worked with them for quite some time while I was in school, while I was still on the dean's list and just being active and everything. And just learning along the way. And I initially went to Clark Atlanta to study radio, TV, film.
Okay.
And then my path pivot when my advisor found out I was working at Essence. She was like, I'm putting you in the PR program. And I was like, girl, I don't want to do that. Right. She was like, you'll thank me later. And I was like, Mr. Bowles.
Shift, girl.
Shift.
Shift.
It's a shift. I sat there and cried, and she was like, "Little girl, get out of my office. We'll start the program Monday." And that's how I started in public relations. Studying public relations. While I was at Clark Atlanta, junior and my senior year, I planned the homecomings along with like our amazing committee, and then I started working with Hot 107.9 out there. And I was also the president of our radio station. And so most of the events and stuff that was in the city, I would get the students access to the work and stuff. And we was breaking songs by like 2 Chainz, and we was like the breaking news type.
On the college campus, that's what's up.
You know they're at Clark Atlanta. You know they are.
Exactly. You're in the heart of Atlanta. You know, you're kind of in the mix. And so while I was there was this guy named KJ Hunter, and he was a comedian. At the time, he hosted all of our events. Everything I was over, I would say, okay, KJ, go home. I knew he brought the energy. And then one day I was like, man, you gotta take this further than just Clark Atlanta. So I got him a night at the Improv. And so somebody had asked, they was like, who is she to you? And he looked at me, he was like, who are you to me? I was like, I'm his publicist.
There you go.
Period.
And from there, we just started making moves, and I gave him the name KJ the Joker, which he still goes by. And that was like my first client, my first personal client. Before that, I had worked with, brands and stuff, but through other agencies. So the moment I graduated in 2011, I started getting outreach from people saying, hey, we want you to be our publicist. I was like, oh no, you got to go through the agency I work at. And then one day this lady called me, she said, baby, you don't understand. We're not trying to do that. We want you. We want you. And so, baby, I got me some business cards made, and I came up with Lemon. Obviously, that's my last name. Limelight is what we bring to our clients, and then Media, because it's a media channel. Lemon Limelight Media was birthed in 2011, and I haven't stopped since.
I know that's right. And you're going, and you're expanding, and you're growing. So much so that on this season of Heart and Hustle Houston, we saw that you kind of are partners or co-owners in Rain HDX. Now, is Rain HDX still open to this day?
So I removed myself from Rain. And I don't think they're in operations right.
Okay. Understand. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to kind of talk, not necessarily about Rain HDX, but you're a publicist, you're in the industry. One of the things that we've seen is, a lot of Black businesses, especially restaurants and clubs. What advice would you give to someone who maybe wants to open up a club or open up a restaurant because you were in it? What would be some of the advice that you would give someone who's interested in doing that from what you learned?
So let me just say, I absolutely loved my time at Rain when it comes to our customers and the relationships that I brought to Rain and just some of the events. And I'm so appreciative of all of the media that was supportive. But I also feel like from a spiritual standpoint, alignment is key. Right. We had several partners. There was an owner and several partners. And I think that, again, it goes back to alignment. I've been doing PR for 17 years, but I've had my company for 14 years now. And when it comes to operating, I run a very tight ship. I believe in order, and I think that this could go for any business. Have the right people around. Make sure integrity is always at the forefront of your business. Because people will remember what you do versus what you say.
There you go.
Maya Angelou said a long time ago, I may not remember what you say, but I always remember how you made me feel.
That's it, girl. So, come on.
And that was kind of a remix, but that's pretty much what she said.
That's pretty much what she said. That's the modern version of it. That's
exactly.
Ashana and I received what you were saying.
That's it. Let it marinate. So for me, that's not just how I operate business, but that's also how I operate in real life. Like I want to make sure that this space is a safe space and it feels good. And then also hospitality, bars, clubs, restaurants, they're very tough businesses.
Yeah.
A lot of times, especially Black owned ones, we don't see our ROIs for quite some time. And then I also think that we have to get to the basics, which is everybody can't be hired. Okay. I tell my entertainment class this as well, because all of a sudden they get a record deal, and next thing you know, you done had your cousin, your uncle, your sister, your
Everybody
momo.
work for them.
Yeah, and none of them have experience. And
the Trump administration. I'm sorry, go ahead. Go. We gonna drink on that, okay? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Latoya.
No, you're good. So I think that one of the basic things, and I say basics, but it's major, we got to get back to training. Training is essential. When you have a business that's a service business, not only hiring the right people, but everybody needs to know what the end goal, what the vision is. Have a handbook, have some type of structure. And again, this is for any business. Have a mission. Make sure your marketing looks good. It may not be for your homeboy or your cousin to do your Wix page or operate your YouTube page, because they're experimenting. Yeah. It becomes a time where when you really take your brand serious, you're not going to experiment. You're going to have experts that you invest in. When you invest in the right people, you can't help but to get the right return on your investment. If you're not paying people, you want everybody to volunteer and uphold whatever vision it is you have. That's not how to run a business. That's how to run a business down the drain.
Clock that T.
Right.
And we have to understand that. Like, there's a reason these franchise businesses work, because guess what they do? The moment they hire you, if you go into training, you have a person that you're shadowing, you know and understand the principles of the business. You're not just running raggedy and operating any type of way. There's structure. Have it. It goes a long way. We'll go and invest in the best G-Wagon that we can.
Yeah.
But we won't invest into the people that's going to help our brand excel. And to me, that's the craziest thing. I get people who come up to me all the time. I mean, I'm looking and I'm like, wow, you got this engine, you got a G-Wagon, you got a Range Rover, you got a Benz, you got 4 scooters, you got a golf cart, all these wonderful things. But you want to come to my Black small-owned business and ask for a 60% discount. Or you may even get bold and ask for free.
Come on now.
Did you go to the G-Wagon
there you go.
And ask them for a free G-Wagon? Are you going to Walmart or H-E-B or wherever you grocery shop and fill up your basket and then say, hey, I got a business. It's free. No, so don't do me that way.
Do you go to those other franchise establishments and act a fool with them? Or accept their subpar customer service, and when you get to the Black establishment, do you want to trash us online? All of this extra stuff. And it's so funny when you talk about alignment. You had no idea, but that was going to be my very next question. Like, why do Black businesses struggle so much with customer service? Because you're a publicist and you're in PR, you know these things. Sure. You know what it takes to make a business successful, or how to recover. If there was a setback or anything like that, how do you approach dealing with those different stereotypes? Right. And you answer all of that without even asking a question.
That's education, baby. That's education.
Yes.
But it's also, you really can determine your outcome and your income based on how you operate your business. And I have 4 businesses. And I started my PR company when I was just 21, and I made a lot of mistakes, but one of the mistakes I never made was customer service.
Clock that T.
There you go.
I never made that. And a lot of what I do takes a lot of trust, right? Yeah. People are giving me their dreams, their visions, their goals, and they're looking at me to, make it happen, amplify it, right? There are some times where I have to say, Let me hold your hand and we're going to have some transparency. Because if you're coming to me, I'm not just going to provide you with a service. I'm going to provide you with truth as well. It may not be time right now for you to get on an interview, but let's clean up some stuff. Let's go through and let's look at your brand consistency. Let's also look at what are your goals. A lot of times people open businesses and they can't even tell you what their goals are aside from making money. Like that's a given. Who's opening up a business just to volunteer? You know, so or it's like, oh, well, shoot, I'm just opening up this business because I want everybody to just come and just support.
And thinking that they're going to automatically support just because of who you are. And one thing you learn when you're doing business, even with us, with this, you know, building this particular platform, everybody ain't going to watch. Everybody who you want to watch ain't going to watch. Everybody who you thought was going to buy your merchandise ain't going to buy your merchandise. Everybody who you thought was going to help you advertise or promote, they ain't going to do that. And you got to be okay with that. You got to still focus on providing a good product, excellent service, regardless of who it is. Because you said at the beginning of this interview, you never know who's watching. You never know whose room your name is going to come up in. You never know who you're sitting at the table with. You just never know these things.
You never know. And you know, the crazy part about it is we have to digest that sometimes our target audience are not the people we know.
No, Maurice and I talk about that often because we talk about the people who we think automatically will support us. I have family members who's never watched this show. And we've been doing it since what, 2016? We've been doing this how long?
On and off, yeah.
And so it's like, you know, I have people, I've told Maurice, there are people who follow me on social media who I've never met a day or second in my life who will watch this show, leave comments, share the posts. And I always tell people, it's free. It's free to do it. So you just got to remember to stay focused, like you said, and know that it'll push through. One of the things I want to bring up, because you know I'm a little messy. I'm a little messy, so I'm gonna tell you.
Houston, we have a problem.
How you doing?